You spent 4 years doing the work. You got the degree. You got the job. And in the first 90 days, you are going to make at least one mistake that will follow you. Not because you are not capable, but because nobody told you the rules had changed the moment you walked through that door. In a survey of 1,000 hiring managers published by resume.org in November 2025, 8 in 10 said a recent graduate did not work out at their company in the past year. 7 in 10 put a recent hire on a performance improvement plan, and 65% said they had to fire a recent graduate. These are not lazy people or unqualified people. The unemployment rate for recent college graduates aged 22 to 27 reached 5.3% in Q2 of 2025, according to the New York Federal Reserve, higher than the overall labor force rate of 4%. You worked harder than any generation before you to get to this point. The traps that end careers early are not about effort. They are about things nobody thought to tell you before you started. 6 of them are in this video. Trap 1. Mistaking the first 90 days for orientation. Most new employees treat the first 90 days as a settling in period. Your employer does not see it that way. The 90-day probationary period is the window when your performance is most closely watched and your termination requires the least justification. In most U.S. states and across Canadian provinces, employment is at will or terminable during probation with minimal legal obligation. You do not have the runway you think you have. The trap is treating the first 3 months as a time to get comfortable. The correct move is to treat it as the highest stakes job interview you have ever had, because it is. Find out what a successful 90-day outcome looks like in your specific role, write it down, and track it weekly. Nobody is going to hand you a report card. You have to create your own. Trap 2. Optimizing for being liked instead of being useful. New employees consistently make the same mistake. They spend energy trying to make people notice them rather than making people's lives easier. An O.C. Tanner report found that more than half of employees fail in their roles because they are too scared to make a mistake. That fear produces a version of you that is quiet, careful, and completely forgettable. The hiring managers in the resume.org survey named the top reason graduates did not work out: lack of motivation or initiative, not incompetence, not bad attitude, a failure to step forward and do something without being asked. The fix is specific. In your first week, find one thing your manager or team is struggling with that is within your current capability. Do it without being asked. Do not announce it. Just deliver it. That single act communicates more about your value than 6 months of showing up on time. Trap 3. Treating your student schedule as your work schedule. University trains you to manage your own time. Work does not work that way. The resume.org survey of hiring managers found that poor time management ranked 4th among the top reasons recent graduates were let go. And 87% of managers said recent graduates are often or sometimes on their phones during work hours. The specific trap is not laziness. It is rhythm mismatch. In school, you controlled when you worked. In an office, the work controls when you work, and the expectation is that you are present, focused, and responsive during core hours, not just occasionally available. The adjustment that matters most in the first 90 days: be the first to respond and the last to need to be followed up with. Response time is how new employees communicate reliability before they have enough track record to prove it any other way. Trap 4. Misreading who actually has power. Every organization has 2 org charts, the official one and the real one. The official one shows you titles and reporting lines. The real one shows you who the manager actually listens to, who gets things done without authority, and who has been there long enough to know where every landmine is buried. New employees who ignore the second chart spend months trying to impress the wrong people and stepping on the toes of the ones whose approval actually matters. The move is straightforward. In your first 2 weeks, identify the 3 or 4 people who seem to have disproportionate influence relative to their title. Find a reason to ask each of them a genuine question about how something works. You are not networking. You are building a map. That map is worth more than anything you learned in 4 years of lectures. Trap 5. Lifestyle inflation. Before your position is secure. This trap is financial, and it is almost universal. You spent 4 years in student mode. Cheap rent, no car payment, eating whatever you could afford. You get your first real paycheck, and your entire cost structure expands to meet it. New apartment, new car, new subscriptions. The problem is the timing. You do not yet know whether this job is permanent, whether the company is stable, or whether you will still be there in 6 months. The Cengage Group 2025 Graduate Employability Report found that only 30% of 2025 graduates had secured a full-time job in their field by mid-year. The entry-level market is the least secure it has been in 5 years. The correct sequence: keep your cost structure as close to student mode as possible for the first 12 months. Direct the difference into an emergency fund, minimum 3 months of expenses, before you upgrade anything. Lifestyle inflation is permanent. Job security in year 1 is not. Trap 6, waiting for your manager to develop you. The last trap is the one that does the most long-term damage. Most new graduates assume that career growth is something their employer will manage for them. Performance reviews, training programs, promotion timelines. In 2025 and 2026, that assumption is wrong in almost every organization. Job postings on Handshake, the leading early career platform, fell more than 16% between August 2024 and August 2025. The entry-level market is contracting. The workers who advance are the ones who take ownership of their own development. They identify the skill gap between where they are and where they want to be in 2 years. They find the cheapest and fastest path to close it, and they make that learning visible to the people who make promotion decisions. Your manager's job is to get work done. Your development is your job. The sooner that shift happens in your head, the faster everything else moves. 6 traps. Not one of them requires more talent than you already have. The 90-day window is not an orientation period. It is the highest stakes job interview you have ever sat. Usefulness beats likability every single time. Your cost structure should not expand until your position is secure. And nobody is coming to manage your career for you. Which of these 6 did you fall into or watch someone else fall into in your first job? And is there a trap that should have been on this list that was not? Both answers in the comments.